Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now I've been wanting to shoot this particular video now for a couple of months now. As you all know, I turned 50 this year. I know it's a crazy number and I've definitely been a little bit, daunted by this number, but I'm here now. Moving on, I wanted to share with you guys how I do my makeup in the 50s, how I do sort of like my everyday makeup. And there's definitely some good tips and tricks in this video. I also want to mention really quickly that I know I always talk about this and I always preach about this, but I do believe that you need to take care of yourself from the inside out. Try to follow a good, clean diet. Try to get your workouts in. Now, if you want to see how I created this makeup look, I did a voiceover in this video, so keep on watching and I see you at the end of the video. Let's get started. So I have a clean face. First product I'm using is a True Botanicals serum. And I just really want to mention skincare is so important for looking younger. You really should take some time and really, spend some time and applying some of your favorite moisturizers. This one here is again a serum. I massage it into my face and I really take my time with applying the serum. I really want it to really, sink into my skin everywhere. And my next product is a cream, and this one here is a German product. It's Augustinus Beta. This product is getting a lot of hype here in Hollywood, and I also really love it. It has some really great science behind it, and a lot of my celebrity clients really love it. I love it. I have it in my kit. And again, I love that it's a German product and it really gives you a beautiful sort of like glow to your face. And again, it has amazing science behind it. And again, skincare, so important for looking younger. You really have to find a perfect routine for whatever fits to your budget, to your routine, and to your skin type. So it's really important that you can find out what your skin type is and what your skin really needs. Again, I also massage it down my neck, around my eyes, so that everything is really well moisturized. If I have the time, I love using a tool. This one here is by a facialist called Joanna, Czech, and it's really cooling, lifting. I have it in my kit and I do it a lot with my clients because they all love it. They love how it feels. It feels great around the eyes, especially if you have some puffiness, and it also lifts, and as you can see while I'm doing it, really my skin starts looking a little bit more flushed, and it just feels incredible on your skin. And again, I do this if I have a little extra time. I'm pointing to my jawline because it really lifts everywhere, as you can see from the left to the right. So my next product is lip balm. And this one here is by my friend. She created this line. It's called Paradis. It smells so good and it's really moisturizing. And I love doing that step right after I did my moisturizer because it gives me time to sink in. By the time I'm putting lipstick on, my lips are really well moisturized. Next step is foundation, but I'm actually not using foundation. I'm using a Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. It's a brand new product. I love it. I'm using two different shades. I'm starting with the darker shade around my nose, chin, forehead. And I'm using a wet beauty blender. Make sure it's damp or wet, and I'm sort of like buffing it into my skin, and that way it looks more sheer and more natural. And I'm really just focusing in the areas where I feel like I need most coverage. For me, it's always around, my chin, nose, and forehead where I always get a little bit red. And whatever is left on my beauty blender, I sort of work outwards where I need a little bit less of the product. And I'm not doing my under eye area yet because I'm first doing my eye makeup, and I'm going to come back to that step a little bit later on. So just make sure that you really blend it and buff it into your skin, and don't forget about the outside edges around your hairline. just to like sort of blend it in everywhere. So I'm putting a little bit of the lighter concealer on my eyelid, and this works really well just to like for uneven, sometimes I get really red on my eyelids, so it evens everything out. It also acts as a primer, so really important to blend it in with the Beauty Blender. And for some reason in this video I forgot to powder, but you should actually really powder right away afterwards, and it really acts as a primer. Alright, so for my eyebrows, I'm using my beloved Hourglass Arch Pencil, and I'm just brushing them up so I can see where I need a little bit of filling. I'm usually doing it, you know, in the high points of my eyebrow, just to create a little bit more of an arch, and then I'm also extending my brow on the outer corner a little bit more, just to make it look a little bit fuller. Next, I'm going in with the Hourglass Arch Brow Gel just to keep them in place. So my next step is my eye makeup. So really important. What a lot of people forget, you really should always sharpen your pencil. I'm using a Dior brown pencil instead of black. The reason why I like a brown pencil is because it's just softer. Black is just really, really harsh sometimes. All right, it's really important that you start in the inner corner with very thin, light strokes. As you can see, I sort of like to stroke by stroke, and then I work my way towards the outer corner. And I want to create a little bit of a lift. I know it's a little harder because my outer area right there is definitely a little bit more wrinkly, but it's okay. I'm just sort of like blending it in. With age, you know, it is definitely a little bit harder to create that perfect little flick on the outer corner, especially because, you know, sometimes, like as you can see with me, I definitely have some wrinkles around my outer area right there. So that's okay. Then you just have to smudge the product in really well, and instead of having a perfect winged liner, it just is going to be a little bit of a smudged liner. All right, and then I'm taking just a nice thin little brush, and I'm just defining the liner I just created with the brush, and I'm smudging it in so it just all looks really nice and even and clean. Now I'm going back in with my pencil. I'm going in the inner upper waterline. I close my eyes and I'm just wiggling that pencil inside my waterline. Next step is curling the lashes. Now that's a really important step that a lot of people forget, but it really helps with opening up your eyes, and you can see it really, really opens up my eyes. Can you see the difference? Incredible. Next step, I'm going in with my new favorite mascara. It's called Able. I really like it because the texture of the mascara and the brush is really nice. Now you have to really make sure before you go back in with another layer that you let it dry for a second. Now I go back in for a second layer. Go really close to your lash line and just sort of like wiggle the product upwards. And now I'm using a different mascara for my lower lashes. This here is the Glossier mascara. I love this mascara for the lower lashes particularly because the brush is so good and the texture of the mascara is great. So now I think that this is a really great daytime makeup look, but I'm going to actually add on a few more products that you can like go from daytime to nighttime. So the first product is a Victoria Beckham eyeshadow. It's a new shadow. It's a clean product. I love that the shadow is matte. So I'm starting with the sort of like more like light pinky shade all over my upper eyelid with a flat brush. Super easy. And then I go in with the light brown on a Dome 217 MAC brush, and as you can see, I take my mirror and I look straight into the mirror. I really want to create a socket, and because I have more deep set eyes, I go a little bit above my socket, and this really creates a nice crease in my eye area. And then I take a clean brush to buff it out so it looks really cohesive and blended. Now I'm going to go back in with the darker shade with the same thinner brush here, and I just work my way over the eyeliner I created earlier, and that way what this does, it just like intensifies the eyeliner a little bit more. And I'm going back in on the outer corner right there, as you can see, and I'm just creating that nice little edge and a little flick on the outer corner. doing the same thing on the other side of my eye, just work my way over the liner. And that's the finished eye look. So now I'm going to zoom back out and I'm going to finish the rest of my face. Now go back in with my Dior concealer. Now this is now the lighter shade, and I'm just applying that literally underneath my eye area. As you can see, I don't go all the way around my eyes. I just sort of do it in the area where I feel like I'm the darkest. And I go back in with my beauty blender to sort of like buff that concealer into my under eye area. And then I go back in with the darker shade because I feel like I'm a little bit red again and I need a little bit more underneath my nose area. Go back in with my beauty blender, blend everything together. Next step is powder, and I choose this Hourglass powder. It's really light, and as you can see, I sort of just tap it on underneath my under eye area and on my chin and nose area, specifically in the T-zone. And underneath my eye area, it's important to tap it like that so it doesn't go into the fine lines. I'm also doing it on my forehead and wherever I feel like I'm shiny, but it's usually my T-zone where I need most of the powder. I'm not powdering the perimeter of my face because I don't want the powder to go into my fine lines or wrinkles. So the next step is just to create a little bit dimension in my face, and I love this hoola powder, and I'm putting it underneath my cheeks, so in the hollows of my face, and I'm doing it just lightly and a little bit in my temples and in my jawline, because this like creates a really nice sort of like chiseled jawline. So I love doing that step right there. It's one of my favorites. And if I have a little extra time, I always love to bring the same color. I contoured my face either in the lower lash line or also in the socket of my eyes. And now I'm going in the socket of my eyes, just sort of like everything looks really cohesive and everything blends really well together. All right, for a little bit of cream blush. The reason why I'm choosing this cream blush here by Tom Ford is because it is very youthful looking on the skin, and I think a cream blush for someone in my age is really, really beneficial because it looks very realistic on the skin. It looks really clean and it looks really sort of like just very natural and very youthful. And instead of using powder, again, the powder would go into your fine lines, and this just looks very, very fresh and dewy. And I just put a little bit too much right now on this side, so it's really easy to fix. You just go back in with your beauty blender and sort of just blend everything back together. And the beauty blender usually has a little bit of the foundation left, so it's a great way of toning down the blush. Now, the other end of this Tom Ford blush has a perfect highlighter, and I'm actually bringing that highlighter into sort of like the middle of my eye and the inner corner of my eye, just for like that halo effect. And it's a little bit too dark for my cheekbones, so I didn't put it on my cheeks, but I think it looks really beautiful on the eyes. Now for my lips, for me, I love lining my lips because it just creates a little bit of dimension in my lip. And then I go in with this new lip balm, which is incredible. It's like one of my new favorites. Iris and Romeo is the name of the brand. It comes in a few different shades. I love this shade. It's like the perfect shade for me. It's like that red sort of like plummy color, and it looks so natural on the lip. It smells amazing. Now I'll go back in with my lip liner just to sort of like tie everything together. Now I'm going back in to give my face a little bit of moisture. I love doing this just to bring the dewiness out and to set the makeup. All right, guys, that's all. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you would like to see next in the comments below, and I see you very soon. Bye.